Hi. Hello. I'm the problem. It's me. So in case you're wondering why the Swifty intro, it's because um I just did this live stream and I did not have audio on last time. My mic was muted. And I'm a big silly goose. So I'm going to try this again. Let's do it again. I was talking about something that gets me very excited. So it should be real easy to talk about it all over again. And the thing I'm talking about is annualdispatch.com, which takes you to a place where you can back my most recent project. So this project is an oversized annual art book featuring my work from the past year. And I'm so excited to share it with you. So, to start, I thought I might share with you a video from the campaign. So, I'm going to go ahead and share this video. Make sure you can hear the sound on this one and let this play out for not quite a couple minutes because I think it does a pretty good job of explaining what the heck this campaign is all about. So, here we go. Let's do it. Hi, I'm Ryan Claytor. I'm a cartoonist and university professor. Last time I was on Kickstarter, I pitched the biggest, most ambitiously designed book I've ever created, titled One Bite at a Time, an art book featuring a lot of my work from the first 20 years of my career in comics, with a heavy emphasis on process. And I'm humbled to say that you helped bring that book to reality. And here in 2025, it's even been nominated for a couple of industry awards. So I want to thank you, genuinely, for your help and trust in bringing that project to fruition. But moving forward, I'd like to continue that tradition of sharing my artwork and working methods with more frequent installments. So rather than wait another couple decades before I publish my next art book, my goal is to release annual installments featuring more current work while maintaining a commitment to teaching and discovery by including descriptions and didactic images illuminating how each piece was created. And if you know me, you know I don't just love keeping busy and pursuing art making in a variety of media, but I also love exploring the relationship between content and format. Needless to say, I am really excited about the arrangement of these new installments, which take form as a newspaper periodical. Each page measures 11 inches by 15 inches, even larger than my oversized hardcover art book, which will showcase the documented imagery even better. In closing, I want to thank you so much for your continued support of my work, and I can't wait to share this next chapter with you. All right, so there you saw it. I am totally unmuted now and ready to talk about this project. So, in case you haven't heard, annualdispatch.com is the place to go. That will take you straight to the Kickstarter campaign page, which I would love to share with you pretty soon, like maybe in the next couple seconds or so as I make my way around the Zoom screen and then press the share button. How's about that? We are here. Ta-da! This is the currently running campaign for the Elephant Eater Comics Annual Dispatch. And over the course of the past month, we've had a really exciting time together to the tune of over 100 backers, well over the project funding goal funded now. And before I get into much more of this, I want to just take a moment to recognize the fact that Kickstarter employees are in a union and they are on strike right now. Now, while they are not encouraging people to boycott Kickstarter, they are encouraging Kickstarter creators to continue with their projects. They're encouraging Kickstarter backers to continue backing projects, but they are asking Kickstarter management for a few things that they've been promised to be put in writing. So, Kickstarter management, I hope you're listening, and I hope you're listening to your employees because they've done an incredible job bringing this platform to the level it has become in the past decade and a half or so. So, with that said, I want to draw your attention to some excitement from this campaign, which is the fact that we have achieved several stretch goals to the point where the publication, which was originally promised to be 32 pages, has now grown in size. It's going to be 50% longer than originally projected, and now 48 pages rather than simply 32. And this all comes at no additional cost to any of the backers. So, existing backers pay the same price. New backers are going to pay the same price, and they're all going to get a publication that has 50% more pages than originally promised. So I cannot wait to share all this content with you. So what the heck is this project? Well, as you heard in that video, it's kind of an outgrowth of my most recent book, which was this oversized hardcover art book that garnered some industry recognition over this past year. So it got both an Eisner and a Ringo nominee for Best Publication Design. I was really heartened to hear that. And in addition to that, I thought, well, I would love to share my work with folks more frequently than once every 2 decades. So I came up with this idea to come out with a yearly publication, and that is the annual dispatch that you see here. So this dispatch, as you heard, is even larger than my oversized hardcover art book, clocking in at about 11 by 15 inches, 25% larger than its predecessor. And what does it feature? Well, it shows projects from my past year of being a creator, such as that book that I mentioned, but also, it has a heavy emphasis on process. So it really pulls back the curtain and shows you behind the scenes of what it took to make some of these projects. For example, this big oversized hardcover art book had some really humble beginnings, like these sketches in my sketchbook. It even takes you through the story of how this book was not originally titled One Bite at a Time, and how that resulted in a big cover redesign and moving forward with the eventual name and cover. Also associated with that book, there was a crowdfunding campaign for that book at that time, and there were options for higher tier awards, rewards, where folks had the option of purchasing an in-book painting from me. And so everything you see in this spread of the end sheets, besides the teal pattern behind here, is painted. The pinball machine, the neon sign, the filigree, the name, the writing, all of this is hand painted inside the book. And I wanted to share those with folks beyond just the backers themselves. So you'll see some of those. You'll also see things like publication designs that I've done. So over the course of 2024, I was touring One Bite at a Time and had the opportunity to be featured on a cover story of the Lansing City Pulse, which is our local arts and entertainment magazine. They even allowed me to illustrate the cover of that magazine. So that was a big feather in my cap too. Also, as I mentioned, I'm not just a cartoonist and an illustrator, I'm also a designer of a number of different products, from watches to pancakes to even neon signs. So, as you see in this spread, this is a neon sign tribute to not only the Professional and Amateur Pinball Association's World Championships of Pinball, but also a tribute to Lyman F. Sheets Jr., who was not only a big competitive player in the scene, whose favorite tournament was the pop-up tournament that we're talking about here. He also was a coder and a rules designer of many pinball machines that we all know and love today, from Monster Bash to Spider-Man to you name it, and he's probably had a hand in it. So anyhow, I was really humbled to be a part of designing this sign commemorating Lyman's life, who we lost to suicide just a few years ago. And in addition to that, you'll also see how I work with clients, providing them with several options for ways to move forward. Once those are chosen, then we will move forward with several color comps. And from there, we move forward with the final fabricated piece. And I even show you where the final piece sits today. In addition to that, I've done things like creating custom clamshell boxes. So while I was waiting for my big oversized hardcover book to be delivered to me, I wanted to keep my hands busy somehow and started making these clamshell boxes for things like books and card games and even video games. And these were mainly built for close people in my life. And these were completely handmade, from cutting individual pieces of bookboard and gluing them together to making custom book cloth to wrap them with, to even finalizing them with custom stamps that I would 3D print from custom designs that I would make. So, all that to say, you get some behind the scene looks into those, as well as illustrations that I've made. For example, the Professional and Amateur Pinball Association World Championships tournament that just happened last month. So this is an illustration I did for that. You get some behind the scenes looks at sketches, final pencils, inks, colors, all leading up to the final printed piece itself, printed on these oversized newsprint pages. And in addition to that, you'll even get some looks at original artwork. For example, this is the actual high-res scanned sheet of Bristol that I illustrated on, and you'll get to see things like the underdrawing, the blue line pencils, the inks, the multiple strokes, the texture of the page, the eraser marks, all sorts of different stuff that led to the final piece itself. Now, if this publication sounds interesting to you, there are a number of rewards to help you get into this publication, starting with a digital version. So if you are not in a comfortable place with cash right now, but would still like to support the campaign and take a look at my projects from the past year, this is hopefully an accessible tier for you. This is also helpful for overseas buyers who might have a hefty shipping bill on top of the bill for the publication itself. And if that's a little too much, then this digital version is a nice compromise for that. But as I said, I am real excited about the fact that I can print this on newspaper. As a cartoonist, I have a big affinity for newsprint, going all the way back to my single digit days when I was reading comic strips in the newspaper that my family would get, to reading comic books as a kid that were still printed on old pulpy newsprint. I feel like this is really kind of a full circle moment for me as a cartoonist, being able to finally print my work on newsprint. So I cannot wait to share this newsprint oversized version with you. So this, again, 11 by 15 inches, quite a reasonable size, the largest size I've ever printed on. So really excited to print a publication at 11 by 17. And if you are interested in a little more, I've even got another tier up from there, which features a signed annual dispatch. So I will sign your newspaper, in addition to include this custom lapel pin featuring the masthead mascot cockatiel. So the cockatiel is significant to me because my father uh, raised cockatiels as I was growing up. He was an aviculturist. He raised birds, and this was a source of income for our family for, my time growing up. And one of the phrases that he would tell my siblings as I would be, well, it's like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time, and before you know it, you're done. So this masthead cockatiel is significant for a couple reasons. One, because this particular animal was a large part of my childhood. And secondly, this Latin phrase, unum morsum uno tempore, translates as one bite at a time. So I try to remember this in my life to kind of keep me grounded when I have big projects in front of me, like making books or going through school or raising a family. And I hope that this phrase helps others stay grounded in this difficult time we're experiencing as well. I'm also really excited about how this pin turned out. For example, it's cast in this copper metal. I've never seen a lapel pin printed on this copper type metal before, so I'm really excited about that. I'm also really psyched that I was able to include this sort of Easter egg hidden elephant eater logo cast in metal on the back of the pin itself. In addition to that, there's even these deluxe locking clutches. So if you've ever had those rubber clasps on the back of pins before, they kind of slip off the pins relatively easily, at least I've found. I've even found those metal butterfly clasps that are like an upgrade from the rubber ones to slip off my pins as well. But I caught wind of these deluxe locking clasps and opted for this upgrade on the pins. I've had this pin on my backpack for the past several months at this point, and it has not gone anywhere. It's been super secure. I've given it a good pull now and again to see if I can wrench it off, and I'm really happy with how these clasps keep it in place, and I feel really comfortable and secure knowing that will happen. So I've got a couple pictures here just to show you the scale. This is about 2 inches wide and about an inch or so tall, and there's a hand to also let you know about scale. But in addition to that, on this tier, in addition to a signed physical dispatch and a lapel pin, I'm also including these really high quality stickers. These are 4-inch stickers that are screen printed on heavy duty vinyl. I've had these types of stickers on my cars for years before, in the sun beating on them, in the weather beating on them, and they hold up really, really well. So I'm really excited about the quality of this sticker, in addition to the fact that it is printed on a transparent vinyl, which means wherever you put this sticker, whatever substrate it's on, that's going to show through behind the design itself, and it's going to look like this design was built for whatever product you decide to put it on. So I'll be real curious to see where you put yours. In addition to that, if you want even more, we've got a book club tier where you can be part of an invitation-only book discussion with me and only the folks who opt for this tier and above of the campaign. So essentially, once these books are in your hands, I'm going to schedule a live book discussion where I will give a presentation showing some behind-the-scenes stuff about how this project was created. I'm going to open it up to an informal discussion and Q&A from the audience where you can ask me questions about this publication that will at that time be in your hands. And then we can just sort of hang out and chat about book publication, printing, Kickstarter, life, whatever you want. I'm really excited to share that time with folks as well. And then if by chance you are a retailer or a very generous gift giver, there's also a tier for you. So on this tier for $85, you can get 7 copies of the annual dispatch so that you can either sell them in your store, or these publications should be in your hands by the time the holidays roll around. I'll get into that in just a minute too. So in addition to that, I had some options for original artwork from the publication that are now gone. I'm sorry for that, but people are now already owners of this original artwork. But with that said, I also have some add-ons as part of this campaign. I'm not sure if you're aware of add-ons or what those mean, but essentially, if you decide to back this campaign, you have the options of those various reward tiers that I just walked you through, but maybe you don't want one dispatch. Maybe you don't want 7 dispatches. Maybe you just want 2 of them. If that were the case, then you can select a reward tier like the physical dispatch and then add on an additional publication in the add-on section after you select your reward tier. So you can essentially custom create your own reward tier using these add-on items. So maybe you just want a sticker added on to your physical dispatch, or simply a lapel pin without the sticker and the signature. You have an option to do that. All right. Now, in addition to the campaign add-ons, I've been doing comics for over 20 years at this point, which means I have a back catalog of work that I'm also happy to share with you. So if you're new to me, or if you're trying to complete your Ryan Clater comic book collection, there are a number of books here that you can add on to your campaign, add on to your reward tier as well. So basically, these are ways to a la carte put together a reward tier of your choosing. In addition to that, something that I typically forget to mention, but I'm really proud of, is the fact that I have a partnership with a reforestation organization called One Tree Planted. And together, along with this campaign for the Elephant Eater Comics Annual Dispatch, which you can find at annualdispatch.com, we have pledged together to plant a tree for every single backer of this campaign. So if there's 111 backers on this campaign, we are going to plant 111 trees. I understand that as a cartoonist, I work in ink on paper and I print in multiples on paper, and that takes trees. So I want to do what I can to help that situation and help the planet moving forward. So you can rest easy knowing that this campaign has a green guarantee. Now, in case you and I are new to one another, in case we do not know each other, my name is Ryan Clater. I'm a university professor and a cartoonist. And if you want to hear from some folks who have had some good experiences with me, I have a number of testimonials here from folks who know my work, who have experienced my customer service from these various campaigns over the past 20 plus years. I want you to feel comfortable backing this campaign because I understand there is a stigma associated with crowdfunding campaigns, because essentially it's a pre-order model. You are pledging towards something that does not yet exist. And unfortunately, sometimes those campaigns do not fulfill their promises. With that said, I have fulfilled the promises for every one of my campaigns. I have gone above and beyond to make sure that every single one of my readers feels as though they are taken care of, and I want to do that for you too. And if you don't believe me, here are some words from some other folks who have had that experience with me. Now, when can you expect to get this book in your hands? Because as I said, it does not exist yet. Although all the material for the book is produced. So all I'm asking for is printing costs so that I can send it off to the printer, get it printed, and put it in your hands. So you are not waiting on me to complete this publication. And right now, over the course of October 2025, we are running this Kickstarter campaign, at least for the next few days. On the last Tuesday of the month, that's going to be the last Tuesday you can pledge. And once that happens, then there's a couple weeks or so for funds to process and make their way into my bank account from Kickstarter. Okay, so once that happens, then I am going to send that money to my printer along with the files for this book, and they are going to print this book, which should just take a couple few days. They're pretty quick. But with that said, I'm giving a good couple of weeks for them to print and deliver these books to me. In addition to that, I'm also including a contingency week or so, just in case any proverbial poop hits the fan and we need a little extra time to work through something. I want to make sure that we've got the time to make that happen. Then I think it's probably going to take me about a week or so to pack up all these rewards, get them signed, get them all ready, and ship them out the door. But like I said, I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that life happens. So I'm giving myself, like twice that time, a couple weeks to get these packed and put them in the mail so that you receive these awards by mid-December. So you should have your Elephant Eater Comics Annual Dispatch in your hands by the time the holidays roll around. So that is the way I believe things will go. And if you're wondering why I'm asking for this particular amount of money, I tried to outline that in this lovely illustrated pie chart here, showing that the vast majority of the money goes to printing. Almost half the funds I'm asking for are going to print this publication. With that said, I also need to get this publication to you. So I'm going to estimate that around a quarter of this campaign funding is going to go to shipping. I also want to get this to you in a very safe way, which means I'm spending a healthy amount on packaging supplies to get it to you without any bends or folds or creases or dings or nicks in it. So packing supplies are going to take about 11%, and then Kickstarter usually takes roughly 10% between Kickstarter and Stripe credit card fees. So roughly 10% of the campaign fees are there. And then I'm also designating another 10% or so to contingency fees. Once again, just in case something arises, I'm not going to be in hot water and the campaign is not at risk of not funding or not producing. So another 10% for contingency fees. And speaking of printing, I am printing this with a company called Newspaper Club that, as you may have surmised from their name, is real adept at printing newspapers. So they have done work for big name companies like Spotify, Adobe, New Balance, Duolingos, and a bunch of others. So they know what's going on with printing newspapers. I have also been in personal contact with them, and they know this publication. In fact, they have printed this publication as I have it right here with me. Hopefully you can see this. Let's go ahead and turn off that virtual background for a moment. Um, so this publication is a proof of this Elephant Eater Comics annual dispatch that turned out really fantastically well. And I am over the moon about how this publication printed, and I cannot wait to get it in your hands. All this to say, Newspaper Club and I have been in real close contact, and they know that this is coming. They know what my files are going to look like. It's looking great, and we are ready to go once this campaign ends. Now, I also mentioned the fact that I am going to get this to you in a very nice way, meaning um, I want this to arrive in your hands as a pristine publication. And if you are a comics reader, you've probably seen things like this. They are a Mylar bag with a backing board on them to keep publications nice and safe. Um, Unfortunately, this comic book backer is nowhere near as large as I need it to be to house the size of this 11 by 15-inch publication. So, all that to say, I have sourced gigantic Mylar bags and backing boards so that when this is put inside, this is going to remain safe in shipping, along with some cardboard sandwiched on either side to keep it nice and flat as it ships to you. So, just to let you know, I've got you in mind when it comes to keeping this publication nice and safe. Now, I wanted to mention a couple of other things before I sign off from this live event. Over the course of the campaign that I've been running, we've been having some fun together, the backers and I. In fact, we've been playing some backer games together, and one such backer game is happening today. We had a giveaway for this. Let me go ahead and share this screen if you don't mind. This limited edition lapel pin has been created for the Professional and Amateur Pinball Association World Championships, which I mentioned just briefly ago. These were only made for the volunteers of the event to say thank you for all their hard work. So these are not available for sale, and this does have my original artwork on it. So I am giving away one of these pins to a lucky backer. Now, we were playing a game, and I had a couple of entrants into this game from this past update that I made. And as I mentioned at the start of this live stream, this backer game and live stream happened once before when I was muted. And so when I spun the wheel, I spun it and it landed on Dean. So I don't want to spin this again and risk having Dean have that taken away from him. So I'm just showing you the wheel of names to confirm the fact that Dean did win this custom lapel pin from the Papa Pinball World Championship. So Dean, look out for this in your package. I hope you love it once it arrives. You have one of very few of these in the world, and I really appreciate you being a part of this campaign and sharing the campaign with people to be a part of this game. And Steve, thank you too. I'm sorry that you did not win one of these, but I really appreciate you being a part of this campaign, and all the other backers who have backed this campaign and turned it into a bigger publication than I could have ever hoped for. Like I said, I originally billed this as a 32-page publication, and over the course of the month, we've been ticking off additional stretch goals to the point where we have a 50% larger publication than I promised everyone. So everyone's getting a 48-page publication rather than just a 32-page one that I originally promised. So I'm really excited to share a lot more information with you. And man, I just can't wait to get these printed. I hope you are excited about it too. I can't wait to put it in your hands. And you've got just a few more days to pledge on this campaign. So why don't I toss that URL up there one more time? If I can find the right button, that would be real great. Here we go. Sharing that URL, which is annualdispatch.com. That's annualdispatch.com, which will take you straight to that Kickstarter page, which is live only for a few more days. So hop on over there, choose a pledge tier that suits you well, and I can't wait to share this campaign with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing with me for a second redo of this live stream, as I now have my microphone unmuted. So again, thank you for all your support, and I'll see you on that campaign page.